Welcome back everyone, it is time to start the SNES tracks. And for today's racer, we're going with Wario. If we hit the L and R button, as I mentioned, we get the extra tracks. No fancy graphics, we just head on into the races. As you can see, the background for Peach Circuit is used for the Mario Circuit tracks. We rush through the crowd, grab a few coins. There's only one lot of items, reflecting the fact there was only the one lot of item panels in each track in the original games. There might have been a stray one along the way, but usually there was just that one group and they only respawned once you had collected all of them. Now this was a problem in battle mode because some of the item spaces could only be accessed if you had a feather. So of course trying to get those was a complete nightmare if you weren't lucky enough to get a feather. As you can see, we're making it through this pretty smoothly. Have to make a few ridiculous maneuvers to get some of the coins, but not too bad. On the lower difficulties, you will wind up probably lapping the AI. So I've already lapped Toad. And there we are. Very basic circuit to get us into things. And Bowser gets hit by a random shell. Next up is Donut Plains. Another fairly simple one, but it can have some pretty narrow parts of the track at times. Grab some coins and try to get as many of these as we can while we cruise along. Fairly relaxed. You might notice that some of these are actually named after locations from Super Mario World. Every so often we will get random red shells. I shouldn't have stopped drifting partway through. I'm very much used to the drifting style of the later games. So, trying to take some of the turns a little too tight here. Because of course it does punish you if you go off-road. But overall, if you're not doing anything fancy, this is a fairly easy track. Don't know what sort of obstacles they had, if any, in the original version. Being able to drive without them is actually really nice because it creates a sense of balance. As I mentioned, in the credits section in the previous video, those obstacles only affected you. It was especially notable on places like Rainbow Road, with those big electric thwomps you had to deal with. The AI could drive right through them. As far as they were concerned, they weren't there at all. You, on the other hand, had to maneuver around them. Which could be really frustrating because that game, the SNES original, had fairly floaty handling, so navigating some of the tracks could be a nightmare. Similar game engines, I believe. Ghost Valley 1 is pretty easy. Assuming I don't crash into too much, we can miss every single coin because I pressed the button a bit too hard. Okay, line up. Feels like the music is actually based on the Ghost House music. I'll keep my shield of shells up. Having that bit of extra protection never hurts. And of course, as always, be careful on the edges, because if you manage to wind up hitting one of those barriers, then hitting the same spot, you will fall off. And that is unbelievably. How did Toad actually manage to hit me through my shell shield? Take care of Peach. Rather mean-spiritedly. There's a shortcut over here that I think you could access with a feather. And we'll lap Donkey Kong just to rub it in. So, one more to go on this track. I mean this cup, and it is the first Bowser Castle. There are 3 in the Super Nintendo tracks. 4 Mario circuits, it's worth noting. And we are also racing these in cups of 4 rather than cups of 5 like the original game. This is a fairly straightforward track. There's not much to these. Just bounce off the walls a little bit, grab as many coins as you can. Nothing to steal this time. Can we just miss the item block? And miss those again, which is a bit bothersome. But we'll swing around, we'll grab some of these, we'll grab those. And once again, we have a pretty leisurely cruise. It gets kind of unforgiving after this. Some of the tracks, in my opinion anyway, are just abysmal. But of course, it does... Well, essentially you have to factor in that I'm pretty terrible, so... My bad driving does have something to do with it, but some of them are really, really awkward. Whoops, I nearly jumped into the lava, so what was I saying about me being a bad driver? And I missed that lot again. Alright, so we'll just correct ourselves, stop messing around. And I did actually manage to hit Mario, just one nice little moment of spite. So, despite me trying to get cocky and show off, we've wrapped up the Mushroom Cup for the extra tracks. As you'd expect, pretty basic. I believe Mario Circuit 2 was actually the last track in this in the original. And we actually got 3 stars. That was a surprisingly good performance. I mean, look at the consistent coin collecting. Some pretty good times as well. And probably the bonus for using Wario. So it's probably going to get a lot worse from here. But I will persevere, as always. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you out on the track for more Mario Kart Super Circuit.